Hey, everybody, welcome to Tea Time with Amy and Bev. Welcome.
And we're back for another wonderful day.
Hey. So just as a notice to our audience, every once in a while, Bev and I, we have to do 2 recordings in one day. That's why sometimes you'll have short videos because our plates are full. We have fulfilling lives with lots going on. And so this is our way of accommodating the videos and being sure that there's something that we're sharing each week. So if you watched a video already and this is what we look like, it's because this is what we look like and we're doing a second video. So
Yep, not to confuse you. You haven't heard this one already yet. It's a
yeah,
new video.
it's new content. It might play off of our first conversation, but it's okay because all of it's important. So
That's right.
we never know where it's going to go.
No, and whatever we say, it's there's a reason we're saying it. Just like whenever anybody else is talking, there's a reason why.
Yeah.
It's really being in that space. Something I wanted to talk about was something I've noticed that I've been doing a lot of lately was recalling all my energy back to myself.
Mm. Oh, that's
Because
good.
we give it away all the time. If you're driving in traffic and someone ticks you off, you give it to them, and you go to work and you start talking about that person that did this, and you're still giving them energy. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to give your energy, but we need to call it back to us.
Yeah.
Honestly, even I don't even remember who I was listening to, but even to be in the space if we're worrying about someone and wanting to constantly send them healing and thinking about them all the time, we're giving all of our energy to them. And the person was the way she said it was they're receiving this information, they're receiving this energy from us, and then after a while it just lays at their feet because it's not their energy. They can't orchestrate this energy, so now it's just laying around. It's there's so I mean, if that's the case, it's just a nice visual, but it's like remembering that that's our energy, to bring our energy back into ourselves and to recall it. But when I do it, I even call it from all levels of existence that I've ever existed. Like I'm bringing all that back. I've had so many experiences where I've seen myself in different ways, and it's been more recently, but like differently, but like probably from another parallel, and realizing all these things that we encompass. It almost reminds me like a Highlander or some of these movies, but I'm just not going out and killing another version of myself to get the energy. I'm uniting myself with all myself. Is what my focus is on, and I'm guided that way. So that's just where I'm at right now. That's just for me, and that might sound freaking crazy to other people. That's
No,
okay.
I
Yeah.
actually learned this several years ago from one of my mentors that this is a practice she teaches many people is to not only bring your energy back into you, but the energy that you're hanging on to of others to send that back to them.
Yes.
And so I'll just give a real quick. I don't know how you do yours, but I'll just give for the audience give a real quick explanation of how she does it. So again, this is quick. Sometimes it's gonna when you're sitting in a meditation and doing this process, it might take several minutes. But quickly, you imagine. I'm going to use Bev and I as an example. Maybe I mean, we've been friends for several years, and we exchange energy, but if she was somebody or we were not a healthy fit for each other, we have a love-hate relationship and things go awry, like there's so many scenarios, so I'm just using this as an example. So I would imagine her in front of me and that her energy is a certain color, so I'm gonna say she's purple, and maybe my energy is pink. And so I would imagine in her where my energy is, where my energy could be stored in her. So those pink spots. And there's, the bank, the drive up where it's got the tube. So I got a tube between us and I pull my energy back into me. And then any of her energy that's purple that's residing in my body, I would send it back to her. I would dissolve that tube, seal up those entry points, surround her. I use pink for love. So I would surround her in a pink bubble of light, and I would see her happy and that her life is going beautifully and she's enjoying life. And I would send her on her way. Like she's just like floating away like a balloon. And then I also do that same process for me. I surround myself in love and see my life now and future happy. I'm happy, I'm feeling great. And then in my meditation, however I want to end it. So that's just a quick synopsis of what we were taught and how to do that.
Yeah. And for me, it's just verbal. Like it is a verbal. It's like I'm recalling all my energy back to
There you
myself.
go. And it could be that
You know,
simple for sure.
yeah, for sure. But it helps if visualization helps, do visualization.
Yeah.
But because I do that, and I send their energy back to them with divine love. I send it like almost like streams of grace, but I'll send it all back there with love, light, and joy. And
Yeah.
then one of the other things was, listen, just God bless. When you're God bless this person, you're sending you're sending God's blessings to that person. It's not like God bless you just because you sneezed or for whatever reason that might have entailed in the past. But when I say God bless, I'm God blessing myself too. God bless me, because I'm asking for that same, for my love for myself too. I want that same love, and it's doing the same thing, bringing all my energy to me with love, light, and joy. Love, peace, and joy, whatever feels good to you. But that's how I'm doing it. It's really that simple, and just being in that space. Now, visualizations, I've been listening to this meditation, the tones, because for me, I like music or hertz, and it's not so much that, but it helps me get back into space if I'm focusing on that, or if I focus on the sounds that I just hear in my ears anyways, it brings me into that space. But I was being shown like like light coming in through the top of the head, and as it was coming through each one of my chakras, it was like coming around it and then down around the next one and around, and it was doing, I'm witnessing this stuff happening, and I thought, that is super cool. I wouldn't have, that visual I wouldn't have had before, but it went through all my chakras all the way down. So it was like super cool just having that experience and just witnessing it. I've been in I've been focusing a lot on appreciation, gratitude, and it's not the same as all the stuff that we hear, but it is. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not just listening to it. I'm not just hearing it. I'm not just trying to practice the gratitude, but I get in these spaces anymore, and it's like I feel like my heart is just so prominent, and it's so there that thank you, God. Thank you so much for letting me have this experience to be able to come here and to be in this space. And thank you for the earth. And it's like we talked about Abraham, and I, the one message that we did share amongst each other in the last week or so was, I have been listening to a lot of Abraham, and it's like I hadn't before, but I'm at that space where it's so, just to be in that energy of the conversations are freaking magnificent, but to be in all that space, and it's helping to raise my vibrational frequency, but it's also the simple things. It's like we get so focused on all the things that are not going right in our lives, and it goes to relationships too, because sometimes it's what's in our face right now, but it's like, what do you want out of that relationship? What do you want? What do you want to see? So it's training yourself. When I'm driving to work now, I take the back way every time because it's peaceful. And it's like she said, what are you looking at? Look at all the things that bring you joy. Look at all the things that make you feel good. Don't focus on anything else but the things that make you feel good. Don't look at anything outside of, if you're looking at something over here and it's like, ooh, that I don't like that. Well, then find something in the space that you do like. The thing is, we get into those spaces and we feel like we got to stay in that space. But if we stay in that space, we're creating from that space. And so the more that I've been doing this, the easier it gets. It just does. It's a natural flow. It's not, and it's, again, back to the last video we talked about meditation. Man, I tell you, for the longest time, I just couldn't seem to get it. I just couldn't seem to do it. I just couldn't. And now it's like every night I lay down in bed, it's like the earbuds are going in my ears. I'm listening to certain things. And as soon as I catch myself snoring or dozing off completely, I know that it's time for me to, like, okay, I'm taking this out, because otherwise I'll doze off and then it'll wake me up, and I'll doze off and it'll wake me up. So I got to get it out. But it's like even taking the time in the morning to do that. And if I don't do a meditation, like this morning, I found this guy, like he showed up on my feed for YouTube, and I was like, okay. And he was just talking about moving all the joints, and he had us doing, certain things. It was super quick, but it's another way of just being with yourself and then not thinking. So you're not creating anything that I don't want to create right now, but still being in a good space, moving energy through this vessel that I'm in. like I always say, it's a lot. I always a lot of information comes out and it's like goes so many different directions, but that's where I'm at right now.
That's awesome because I will tell you, um, I've also been doing other things with my health. And it is it every time we come together for a conversation, there's something that we are both experiencing and we don't even talk to each other. So I'm saying that for the audience. Bev and I typically don't do much interaction and conversation during the week. And we come together and do these videos and then we show up and she, just like she said, like she's doing things for her health. I'm also doing things for my health and I've made some shifts in the past week. And so I always love it when things come to the surface of, oh, this is what I'm experiencing. You're like, come on, me too.
I like it.
So I've been seeing this guy's video on YouTube as a commercial, basically, since COVID, since 2020. And I'll hear the first little blurb, like, but I'm listening to another video and I want to get back to it. So I just ignore it. You're right. Skip. So I've been doing this for 4 years. Well, the other day, like 2 weeks ago, I was like, you know what? I need to listen to this guy. I need to listen to this commercial. So I listened. And then guess what I did? I ordered his book and I signed up for his program. So it was just times. But I got his book here. It's Living Good. Dr. Living Good is his name, him and his wife, and they have this whole anyway. And I've just been, listening and I'm making some changes, just what I can do for now and listening and then implementing. So it's just been 2 weeks, but it's been an interesting process. But I also have been guided, like, pay attention to your health. And it's time to do something different.
Yeah.
And so, and they've been easy things. Well, one thing's actually been major for me because I absolutely love breakfast. Like, that's my favorite meal of the day. And one of his things is the fasting. So, once you eat dinner, don't eat anything until like lunchtime the next day. And how to, just some things to do. And so I've been doing that. The first day I was like, okay, I can do this. I can go through this day without having breakfast. I'm sure I'm not going to die. I'll be okay. I really had to have a conversation with myself because I just knew, like, really, my breakfast? No, not that one. But it's actually been, I did it for a week and actually I was surprised that I lived. Here I am. But it was easier than, I didn't set myself up to say this was going to be hard or difficult or anything. Like, I'm making light of it now, but I didn't set myself up with that mindset. Like, oh man, I can't have breakfast. Like, it wasn't that at all. It was, okay, let's just do this and see how it goes. And I actually, the first day I was kind of on that concern. Like, am I going to be able to make it till lunch? I don't know. But I did, and I was actually surprised how easy it was. And the next day, I didn't even think about it. Didn't even give it a thought. And then I was working, I was at work and doing my thing. And then next thing I know, it's like 12:30. I was like, oh shoot, I better eat. So it was super simple. And that has a lot to do with mindset. So anything we do when we want to change something has to do with that mindset, to not think about how difficult it might be. It's okay, well, let's see this or let's do this and see how it goes.
Yeah. Like, don't put any thought into it because spirit's guiding you to this stuff, really.
Yeah.
And it's like, not one thing is good for everybody. And it's like really listening to each one of us has that guidance. So it's to hear, we're just sharing the things that worked for us that are
Right.
coming forward for us. And that's been like, even for me, I've had these medical medium books for years. Really, I ordered a book. It's probably been I don't know, 8 years ago that I had one of these books, and I read it and was like, oh man, that's just too hard. So for me in that space, it was too hard. And then for me in the space of lifting weights and doing all that stuff, I didn't feel like I could do those diets because I felt like I had to have the proteins.
Right.
And then just like you, man, because this has been 3 weeks since I don't have the breakfast. I have lemon water, then celery juice, and then I have this detox, heavy metal detox smoothie afterwards. But I was going to quit a couple weeks ago, but then realized I'm feeling different. And the thing is, when you're doing things natural, it's subtle. You don't notice it. And I was thinking about quitting, and I'm like, wait a minute, I can tolerate the heat so much better than I was tolerating it. I feel better. There's something going on with me. Also recognizing that I'm detoxing a lot of stuff, a lot of energies from my life, that I no longer go to the same place that I used to work out at. I signed up recently, just in the last couple of days, at another place, and it didn't have anything to do with anybody else. It's not me pushing them away. It was me not knowing how to have boundaries for myself to say, I just want to work out. I just want to put on my earbuds, get in, do my workout. This is like a meditation time for me still, because I go and listen to podcasts. Before it was always music. I might listen to Christian music too, or I might listen to something else, but I like to listen to a lot of there's certain things I like to listen to on YouTube. So I'll go and listen to that stuff, but it's not about anybody else. I'm not trying to push anyone away or anything like that. It's nothing about that stuff. It's about, this is my time. This is time for me. And I've got to honor this time for me, just like everybody else, if they so choose, need to honor their own selves and whatever their choices are, their choices are, but recognizing all that stuff, and then recognizing this food, I eat this way, Freeman doesn't. So this has been good for me. Now I'm looking at he's got another detoxification. It's called 369. It's for 9 days. And I'm like, I could do this. But before, oh no, I was like, no. And I was going to say, just like you, missing my breakfast, because he made me breakfast every single day. Every day I had a bagel, and then I had my eggs with my cheese and stuff in it. And it's so delicious. Love it. But it's like, also, I'm just feeling different. And I'm feeling, like I said, I feel, even Freeman says, like, you're just detoxifying. So now you're more of a clear channel for a lot of the information that we're receiving. Even into the last group setting I had, there was a point where awareness, right? So I'm having an awareness too. There was a point that I felt like my voice got kind of louder. There was some subtle changes within my body. I noticed how my body started feeling different on the inside. And it's like, it was something else. I don't know if I would call it channeling. Maybe it kind of was, but I could tell you there was something going on in this vessel of mine that I could notice. And maybe before I couldn't notice, because maybe there was too much heaviness. And so, like I say, when I'm detoxing, it's not when you clean your vehicle, you're not just cleaning the ashtray. You're not just cleaning the door. It's like a whole cleansing of the whole vehicle. This is the whole cleansing of my whole vehicle on all levels, on a spiritual, mental, physical, all of it. I know there's always one other word you always say that I always forget, but it's that too.
That too. Mental, emotional, physical, spiritual.
What?
Mental, emotional, physical, spiritual.
And emotional too. So all that stuff, but it's all these, it's the whole vessel. It's not just one thing. Yeah. And being guided to, like, I've been looking at land. I want to live in Arizona still, but looking at land in Arizona that's like big acreage. And I'm thinking I could raise my own bison, honestly, because I've been looking at, raising more clean animals and stuff and just love them and stuff until it's their time for they're offering their food for the earth or for the people or whatever, but utilizing all aspects of that animal. But it's got to be clean, because to me, it being clean, because we store toxins and stuff into the fat. And if I'm going to use the tallow from a bison or from beef, I want that to be clean tallow. I want that to be clean fat if I'm going to use it for skincare products to put on our skin and our faces and stuff like that. So it's like this whole process, like I'm being pulled, my passions are guiding me into these other areas, looking at ways of trying to live, not even trying to, I'm not doing it to please someone else. I want it to be pleasing for myself. So an underground home or an earth home or whatever you want to call it, but where you have the earth on top of the home too, because that's helping with the temperatures inside the home. It's helping to regulate things without having to work harder. And that works. That means on my vessel too, not trying to work harder, because I've been working hard my whole life, but and even my body has been, and it's not even necessary anymore. Recognizing that it's not all that's not necessary. Recognizing that when your body feels bad and you're in heat, I used to always be out in heat and it was never an issue. But to get to where you feel angry and you feel hostile, if you're eating foods and you're feeling angry and you're feeling hostile, it's like, take a look at these things. It's not just the emotional stuff that's going around you. It's stuff that we're putting bad fuel into the bodies. You know, gas that has water in it. We're throwing it in a truck right now, and we're wondering why it's like chugging around and doesn't want to do much. It's because it doesn't have good fuel. So it's really looking at things, and yeah, it can be expensive, but then on the other side of it, it may not be expensive, because maybe you're doing a trade with someone else. Maybe you're offering them eggs for tallow for their skin, or it just, or meat or whatever. It's not, there's always a give and take. And it's like, we get caught up in the idea of the money. That's why they keep saying when you're creating all these things, you don't have to get caught up in the money of the thing. It's the money part's not what you need to factor in. You don't have to do that. That's not our work, but it's for us to create, because the money's going to come in for it. And it's not because you're creating something bad that you're not getting the money for it. It's be in that space of creation. Maybe when you're creating and you're not getting the money in for it yet, maybe there's some fine tuning that needs to be done still, like really figuring out what you really want in that space. I was talking to a girl recently, and she wants to sell all these products and she wants to have her store. And I said, but do you want to work in the store full time, or do you want someone else to sell your products? Just asking questions, right? Because those questions she needs to be asked, or I wouldn't have even said the words in the first place. So we can figure out what we do want. Everything is so simple, but it's just helping us redefine, because I haven't always known what I want. And I still don't know, but I'm getting better ideas of what I want, and I'm stockpiling and I'm gathering all this information of the farms that are around, that are clean, that are giving good food, that are treating their animals well, that are allowing them to eat off the land and supplying the food, supplying good land for them to eat off of. And it's just looking at all that whole process, because it's all, when you look at it from an energetic standpoint, it's all like peace. It's more flow. It's effortless. It's love. And it's like, you can feed the whole world on that. Honestly, on love, you can feed the whole world on that. But it's being in that space, in our lives, in all aspects of our lives, not being like that at home with your family, and then going in and being the boss and firing people off of your heads and, why aren't you doing this? It's being love in all aspects of our life.
Yeah. And I want to say that it first of all, we don't know how long we're going to be on this planet, but the idea that even Bev just thinking about this stuff and researching it and giving time and energy and focus to it because it feels good to her, she's still creating. Because whether she might leave her physical body this afternoon, we don't know when it's going to happen, right? But the fact is, she put that energy of creation out there, and that means that she's contributing to changes that she would like to see. And anybody else who is having those thoughts and doing those things are contributing to that as well. And if those people continue in the physical body, then they may be the ones that implement that and take lead on it and work towards those things getting changed. But the idea that Bev is doing it just because it feels good matters. That matters.
God, you're so right. And it's like, and I don't even have to bring it all into fruition. It's just a matter of putting that energy out there.
Yep.
Air 5, that was good.
Thanks.
I didn't even look at it like that, but you're right, because that's the whole thing about doing without doing. It's effortless. It's just having those thoughts. That was awesome.
Well, I'll say this too, because I heard this too, is Prince, the singer, songwriter Prince, his band and team told stories that he would call them at 2-3 o'clock in the morning and say, we need to write a song right now. And I'm like, dude, it is 3 o'clock in the morning. And he's like, no, we got to do it now, because if I don't do it, Michael Jackson will.
Yeah.
He knew that, like intuitively, he knew that. So it was the same thing. Like whoever's receiving these images or thoughts of creation, like this, or what Bev talks about, that again, just giving energy to it, that goodness, that feeling of this is exciting and fun and pleasurable, and this really resonates with me. She is amplifying that energy for whether her or someone else to implement it.
100%. 100%. And it's like, it's not a matter of, for me, it's not a matter of leaving less of a footprint, but it's like, why are we struggling in so many aspects of life when
Yeah.
there's so much easier ways? Don't go live in the box, go dig a hole. Do you know what I mean? There's all these things that just make sense to me that are, it's like going with the flow of Mother Nature and the earth. And gosh, think about, there was a cave home that I saw built. It's a 1,500 square foot home that was built into a cave. And it's like, think about the energy of that space.
Yeah.
So grounded, like so grounded. You are in the earth right now. It's like that to me is like amazing. But it's like we can live like that all the time, and it's less.
Mm-hmm.
And less is more. That's when less becomes more. It's not trying to find out how can I live less. It's like how can I live more, because that's living more with effortlessly. The earth is recharging you. The earth is keeping you safe as it always was meant to be. I'm trying to, not trying, I'm looking for more of a grounded shoe, moccasins, stuff like that, because it's like just being more in connection with everything. And I'm being drawn to pay attention to. We went to a gas station by our house last night, and being drawn to pay attention to what the shoes are that everybody's wearing. I'm noticing a lot of flatter shoes. We've gotten so into these, high heels, and it's like it disrupts the back, but it doesn't disrupt the back, the flow of the whole body, because now, the way the spine is and how it's, that's too much information, but there's a lot, just the way the flow comes through the body. Your body's not flowing right. That's why you're getting the back pain. So if you're wearing heels and your low back's hurting, it's because that flow of this energy that's flowing through is kind of getting a little bit kinked up. So it's like recreating this flow inside of our body, or the alignment inside of our body, to allow that flow to come all the way in and out our feet to the earth. It's like it's a whole nother conversation, but it's like there's so much to be said about all that stuff. It changes the flow. Instead of wearing these tennis shoes that have like an incline in the back, and it's kind of sweeping to the front, and maybe so subtle, but that small little change affects the way the whole spine is receiving information, the way the whole spine is being allowed to flow, why your back's causing you to have problems, or it feels like your back's causing you to have problems, when it could just be something so simple as being grounded, so simple as just walking around in your normal feet without changes, without adding all these extra layers on to change things to be more supportive. We've kind of been allowed ourselves to guide ourselves away from this natural flow of everything for the next best thing, to make you faster, to make you all these things. And it's like, it's not benefiting the body. You're not living inside that vessel and supporting that vessel. Now you're trying to live beyond it, go outside of it. All these things and I get confirmations about this stuff. I'm talking about cleansing the liver right now, which is my focus. And I haven't even really stopped to look and see what is the energy, what energy is that storing in for the chakras or all that stuff. Cause I'm not putting all those labels on it. I just know that right now I'm getting rid of that stuff. And then I hear my daughter says, oh yeah, I was listening to Joe Rogan talking to someone, and he's like, alarm goes off, and he's, oh, I gotta take my supplement that I'm taking right now because it's to cleanse my liver. And he's like, man, my wife talked me into doing this like so many months ago, or maybe it was a year before. And he says, my skin's actually gotten younger, my body's gotten younger, the inflammation's gone away, like all these things, just a little change that can support the body to get rid of things, energy, emotions, feelings, all these things that we compartmentalize and trap with inside these vessels. And there's so many gateways that stuff can be released from us that are so effortless. And that's how it shows up. It's not being in struggle like, oh gosh, I've got this much money in my account and those pills cost that much money. No, it's just knowing that there's going to be if that's not your route, it wasn't about the pill. It was about cleansing that energy from that space. And there's an easier way, and it's going to come to you. It's just as well as sitting outside and putting your feet in dirt with no socks and shoes, nothing, no barriers, and just being out there, all the way to being in meditation and knowing there's no separation between me and earth, no matter what's on this body.
Yeah, so good. And again, it's like what you said earlier, you said you listen to one person on YouTube and it told you to move your, rotate your joints and stuff. And here I'm listening to this other guy on Dr. Living Good. And I have found, and I'm gonna believe this holds true for you too, and you made the comment, it's do what feels good to you, right? And resonates with you when those videos pop up and you choose to listen to them. You're listening to them in that moment, what we call divine timing. It's just time. I can't tell you how many times Dr. Living Good's commercial thing popped up during the videos, the podcast that I was listening to. I'm like, really, again? And I skip it. But something is like nudging, like, no, you need to listen to this now. It's time.
It's going to make you feel good.
Yeah, right. It's going to be, hello. And
but I want to feel good.
Damn it. But it's not that I beat myself up. Well, shoot, if I would have done this 4 years ago and the first time I saw it and how I would be feeling now, I didn't do any of that. I was like, oh, it's time. I just knew in that moment. So when those things pop up for you, as if somebody hands you a book and you decide to read it, it was time. Whether it's you're at the gym and you overhear a conversation about some people doing certain, it's time, right? It was time. It was time for Bev to listen to that video and rotate her wrists and move her joint. It was time. So those nudges, just give more attention to them and implement them.
100%.
Yeah. And then I wanted to hit on one of the things I wanted to hit on real quick is, you say listen to podcasts while you're working out or music, Christian music. I'm the same. Just depends on how I feel. If I'm doing something like walking on the treadmill or doing an elliptical, I'll watch a podcast. I like the video podcast. If I'm just, going from one machine to the next and I'll listen to, this is what I started doing. I was like, this is awesome. So when I'm working out on the machines, I'm counting, right? We're counting the reps. Well, I'm keeping my conscious mind busy, but I'm listening to affirmations for my subconscious.
Nice.
So I start getting into that practice. So I'll put on, like most of the time, it's Louise Hay's voice. I'm not going to get into all that, but Louise Hay's voice doing affirmations. And so I'll just put it on a lower tone, lower volume, but I have it playing while I'm counting and doing the things. So that may be beneficial for many of you if you do things like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
So much information. We never know what we're going to talk about. And we always come with so much value. And so anything that you got out of this, implement the one thing. Don't try to do all of it at once. Like this book, there's a lot in it. And I'm implementing what I can right now. And it's probably going to be just an ongoing practice. I'll do one thing. Once that becomes a habit, then I'll do something called habit stacking. So just doing what I can with the time that I have and the resources I have at readily available. And that's what we ask of you. If you're listening to our videos, implement at least one thing. If you're seeking a change, transformation, whatever it is you are on the path of, you heard something in this video that resonated with you, that really got your attention, implement it. That's what's going to keep you going and heading in the direction you desire.
Also, another book I want to throw out there is Living the Awakened Way by Suzanne Giesemann. I've been listening to it. And again, it's implementing. You might use it for one moment. And that may be any of these things that you hear, you might use it for one moment, and that might be good. And it might be something you put in as your practice. for
Yeah.
a while. So it's like, it's just being open, being, you want to be the water. You want to be the water going with the flow. And there's so much nutrients that we get to pick up along this way in this water, being the water. Otherwise, if you're the rock, you're just like banging against it and you're not absorbing, or you're not allowing stuff to come into the flow of what you are. Be the flow.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right, my friends, also have conversations with your friends and family, your coworkers. Plant those seeds of these conversations and information. Bev and I come with what works for us, what we found has been beneficial, and we share that because we know many other people would benefit from the information. And so it's up to you to share that as well. Have those conversations, and so you can find us on YouTube, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Google Podcast, Podcast Addict, iHeartRadio. So we're a mini, it's 11:11. I just have to say that like almost every time. It's 11:11. Yeah, now I lost track of what I was saying. Anyway, share us and be comfortable in these conversations because this is us. This is us. So
thank you.
Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate your time and energy. You could be doing anything else, but you chose to listen to us. So we appreciate you. And our hope and desire for you is just to do and be better in your life and be in joy. Would you agree with that?
I agree with that. I concur.
You concur. Okay. I love that. All right, friends. Thanks for hanging out. Tea time with Amy and Bev, and we will see you next time.
Bye.